Hey, have you ever seen players do something like this? Or like this? And thought, hey, that's awesome. That's really cool. And when you try to do it, you just end up doing this.
I'm back in this bitch. I'm back.
Well, you came to the right place, because this video, I'm going to teach you how to improve at AZURE LATCH and how you can go from missing your counters to being able to dribble a full team. A disclaimer, everything that I'm going to tell you here, you probably have already heard before, and it may be slightly repetitive, but you know, if you're hearing it all over the place, it probably is the correct advice. And you know, this isn't going to take 2 days, 3 days, maybe not even a day. You know, it's going to take time to understand, time to learn, time to master. So be patient with it. But yeah, you guys stay tuned, like, subscribe, and let's get on with the first point. So before we actually get into the video, please subscribe, because I was in a domain clash with one of my friends, and he kind of beat me now. I need to get back. So guys, please subscribe, and then go subscribe to him, because he's like really close to hitting 200, and by the time this video drops, he might have already hit 200. But yeah, please sub, and actually now onto the video. All right, guys, so the first thing you're gonna have to understand is the basics. And what I mean by that is your dribble, your slice, your run, your rainbow flick / jump, side dash, all of that. You know, you're gonna want to understand everything that these come with, because you know, just like that, if you don't understand them, if you're doing things wrong, you're gonna end up losing the ball, and that's not the greatest. You know, so understanding what each of them do, how long they're active, you know, what movements you can do with them, what you can chain with each other, the cooldowns on each of them, the end lag on each of them, all of that plays a really big part, because if you don't understand what each of them do and how they work, you won't be able to improve yourself on your own gameplay, but you won't be able to stop others and how they play. So that's the most important thing, is understanding the basics. It's not going to be easy. It is going to take a while, because again, there's a lot with just the basic things. There is a lot, but once you do understand them, you'll be able to like really shine, you know. And you know, when you do understand the basics, you'll end up playing a certain way and doing certain things, which ties into the next one of finding your playstyle.
Enrique!
So finding your playstyle is pretty simple. It's pretty easy. You know, once you learn the basics, understand the basics, you start developing your own personality. And that personality is just how you're going to play. If you're someone who's quick, who likes to hold the ball and is quick with it, can dodge your opponents, get to the goal box fast, score, you're going to want to play, you know, characters like Baro, like Batra, like Kaiser, because they're quick with the ball, they get downfield, they score, and that's that. If you're someone who likes to stay off the ball and strike a last second, you're going to want to play either of these Sagis. You're going to want to play Shido. If you're someone who likes to control the tempo of the game, who it doesn't really care too much about scoring, it just wants to win, you're going to play characters like Sai, like Corona, like Hiyori. You know, if you're a defender, you're going to be a defender style, Kunigami, Aiku, Rayo even. If you're a goalkeeper, you're going to be a goalkeeper. You can really play anything. As a support style, Gagamaru, doesn't necessarily matter. So, you know, finding your play style and adapting to that play style, once you understand the basics, it's really simple. It's really easy, you know. And because now that you've developed a personality, all it is after that is understanding how others like to play, how your defenders how your opponents like to play. And with that, it comes into my third point of synergy.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
So synergy is it's a pretty simple concept. You know, all it is just how your teammates play, understanding how your teammates play, understanding how you play, understanding what they want from you, understanding what you want from them, communicating that as best as possible on the field. With the new update, the pings update, you can ping when you want passes, you can ping when the defense is too cluttered up and needs repositioning, needs to scatter. And so you can ping for, you know, where you feel like a danger zone may be, so that way somebody can pick up on it. It's pretty much just how you and your team interact with each other, not just on offense, so that way you can score, but on defense. You know, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of some of your teammates on defense, so that way you can make up for what they lack. If somebody likes to tackle early, you let them tackle early, get dribbled by or get blown by, and then you can easily pick up and catch the end lag, so that way you guys can go down and score. Or if your teammate's a little bit more patient, wants to exhaust options, you be that reason that options are exhausted, so that they can pick up, they can score. It's hand in hand. Being able to understand your team and play with your team well is going to shine. That's why a lot of people in pubs, they're always complaining about how their team sells them, how they can't do anything because their team sucks. It's not just your team, but it's how you play with said team. So all of that comes into account. All of that is one giant factor. If you're not the greatest, and if you're not the greatest, your team is not going to be the greatest. If your team is not the greatest, you're not going to be the greatest. So being able to understand how to play with them and how you guys can shine, or where you guys can make up for one another, that's synergy. And you know, a lot of that sounds like a specific thing, which is the next point of field reading. Field reading is pretty simple, it's pretty easy to do. It's just watching what others do and acting accordingly. It's predicting where somebody might go, predicting how somebody might do something. As you see here, you know, my friend went in for a tackle, and I saw that, and I was waiting for a set tackle. I knew he was gonna tackle there. So I went for the counter. Sadly, I was just out of range, so it didn't happen. And as you've seen just then, I knew my friend was gonna instantly jump on the opportunity to tackle me because Sai doesn't have end lag, or Sai doesn't have iframes on his shot. So I waited just a little bit, and because he's an itchy person, he went in for the tackle, and I got the tackle. It's just constantly adapting to what your teammates and your opponents are doing. By understanding what they may do, you can move the ball around in specific ways that you wouldn't normally do. I like, that's the first time I've ever shot a curve shot in the box, and it's just because I didn't want him to catch up. I knew he was on my tail. I went to go in and stop him. It's just constant information being processed, and how you can do the best you can, not just for yourself but for your teammates. A lot of this is 1v1s, but you know, it works just as great in public service. Understanding where your teammates are, communicating when your teammates need to change positions, and being able to mark where your defenders are, so that way your teammates and you can, you know, defend properly. All of that is field reading, field analysis. So that's something that I would hope everybody has, because I do see a lot of players like that. They just can't read the field to save their lives. But yeah, and on to the next point of tape watching.
You better stop before I bust on my karate.
So I'm gonna link tape watching in with the next tip of learning from others into one. First off, with tape watching, the reason why I say tape watching is really important is because being able to look back on on your old gameplay, understanding where you were, where you could have improved on, understanding where you lack, but also understanding your strengths and how to constantly improve your strengths. Those are also really good things. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you can't get better at it. So being able to watch back your footage, understanding, yo, I did really good with this. If I did this, I could have been better. Or maybe it was already perfect and there's nothing to improve. Then you could be like, oh, that was really well. I'm gonna practice this and continue to incorporate it in my gameplay. Or, you know, if you're struggling with defense, you record yourself on defense, so that way you could be like, if I would have done this, I could have had a lot better success. Or, oh, he didn't have any options other than his run. If I waited for his run, I could have easily gotten the end lag on the run and I could have made a counterattack. It's that simple. Just being able to understand, you know, where you could have went better, so that way you can improve for a next time scenario, is always going to be, you know, better than staying stagnant because you don't know what you're doing wrong. And that comes in with the next one of learning from others. Watching tapes, you can also see what others are doing. Being able to understand how somebody's doing something, what inputs they're doing, what they're doing that you would like to incorporate in your own gameplay, that's going to make you significantly better than if you were to just not learn from anybody at all, you know? So it's just, you know, putting all ego aside, thinking that you're, you know, some great player because you have, you know, a bunch of goals. Putting that aside, you can always learn from others. You can always improve. You can always do some type of better. So watching your older clips to see where you can improve, learning from somebody else through your tapes or in person, that's always just going to be some type of advantage than to not do so. So yeah. So yeah, that's really all the tips that I really have. You know, a lot of these you've probably already heard from 18 million different videos, you know, and you may be like, why should I take your advice? You only got 3K goals, you know. But I feel I know what I'm talking about. You know, just because I'm not at that level where, you know, just because I'm not at a level where you feel like I shouldn't be giving advice doesn't mean that I can't give advice. I understand where I understand, you know, where others like. I've played the game for a good amount of time, so I know these are things that, you know, AZURE LATCH players struggle with, and I'm just pointing it out so that way you guys get better. I tend to fall to these myself, and, you know, that's the reason why, you know, I could speak, because I'm human and I make these same mistakes. But yeah, like, subscribe, please. Trying to hit 200. Subscribe to the dog Champ Dooms. He about to hit 200. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios. All right, so I did end up thinking of a last one, so here's a little secret tip on how to improve at AZURE LATCH. Keep your composure, you know, relax. You know, if you're jumpy, you're gonna end up missing your dribbles, you know, just like that. You're gonna click things you don't need to. You're gonna miss spots that you know wouldn't have missed before. You're gonna end up missing shots that you shouldn't have. You know, just relax. You know, understand that, you know, the more, you know, the more agitated you are, the more irritated, the more mad you get, the worse your performance is gonna be. So just relax. You know, take a breather if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed or you don't know what to do, and, you know, just slow down a bit. I get, even if your playstyle is being someone who's really quick on their feet, you know, slowing down isn't always a terrible option, you know. So if you relax, keep your composure, and I promise you do 17 times better.